Hi, happy Monday. I have not had a chance to post today, and I was thinking all day, what do I want to post? Because there's always so much I want to post. Here's a new look, okay? So you're not just getting a cooking show, but you're getting me in all different ways. Anyways, here's the thing. I am going to make a healthy version of minestrone soup, but it's actually not really even minestrone soup because there's no pasta and there's no beans, and I'm gonna do it with no oil, so we're gonna see how that goes. And I'm going to do my best as I'm transitioning into getting a new camera so that I have a better angle, better light, you can see better what I'm doing. But I'm gonna show you what I've got, and I'm gonna do my best while I'm here sharing this with you. So first I'm gonna start with an onion cut. I used a sweet onion, and I have no oil in my pan. Okay, I just started to warm my pan up, and so I'm gonna start with that onion, and that's probably going to take a few minutes to just get a little bit hot. So I'm gonna raise the heat. When and if I feel like I need to add anything in here, what I'll do is I'm gonna add a little bit of water. And when I add just a little bit of water to the bottom of the pan so that it doesn't get sticky. And that's how I kind of get away with not using oil. I've been doing it a lot, and you really don't need oil, you know. And after everything I've been learning about the liver, and after cleansing and doing the 9-day cleanse, it's really time for me to learn how to cook without oil. The oil taxes the liver, and everything we eat has a lot of oil. All animal protein has oil if you are a person that eats animal protein. Even plant-based butters, nuts, seeds, avocados, that's all fat, even though they are plant-based and they could be good for you. There's a lot of information out there. I'm not going to tell you what to believe. I'm just doing what works for me, and I'm just showing you what works for me. So try it, see if it works for you. If it works for you, go for it. If not, try something else until you find something that does, right? The idea is going along the journey and doing the best you can. That's all we can ever really do. So here I'm gonna saute this. You can already hear the sizzling going. And I've got a lot of garlic, I don't know, 8 or 10 cloves. I love it, and you can never have enough garlic as far as I'm concerned. I remember I used to watch Emerald on the Food Network, and he was always like, bam, right, with the garlic. So garlic, and already my house smells so good. Ooh. And now my eyes are like burning like crazy, right? So it's part of the cooking process. So embrace what you are. Now I'm going to add a tiny drop of water. This is filtered water that I use for my filter. A little bit of water on the bottom of that so it doesn't get stuck to the bottom of my pan. And here I go. And now that's just the right amount of water. So here's what's going on in here right now. So that's just the onions and the garlic in water. Okay, let that cook for maybe another few seconds. And then I'm going to add carrots that I diced, chopped celery, diced zucchini, and chopped mushrooms. I'm gonna go ahead and now see if that can go ahead and get simmered up together so that everything gets that flavor. And wow, that already looks really good. So here, check this out. So this is gonna be a really hearty soup, lots of veggies. So I'm gonna cook that for a few minutes. So the cooking process and the preparing process, it took me probably like 15 minutes to chop all the vegetables and to get the ingredients ready. So listen, look what I do. I go to Google and I look up a recipe, right? And I'm like, And then I look what I have at home. And then I use what I have. And I mix things up, I change things up, and I kind of do my own thing. I never really follow a recipe to a T ever. But there are times that I'll go to the grocery store and follow a recipe to a T. Today I just wanted to use what I had at home. I have lots of things and I really wanted to make a really hearty soup. So I'm gonna let that go on, and I have this tomato paste. I bought this tomato paste. I've actually been looking for a tomato paste that's in a tube or not in aluminum, I would prefer. This only has 2 ingredients, tomatoes and Mediterranean sea salt. I like that was clean. There's no citric acid, xanthan gum, any gums, or any other preservatives. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a squeeze like that. And while I give that a squeeze in there, I'm going to use Italian seasoning. I don't measure, I'm just gonna put some in. Like I would say a half a teaspoon. It's a lot of vegetables, so you wanna have the flavor. And I'm guesstimating. I've been cooking for 20 years plus, so I could guesstimate. And you can't take away spices, but you can always add salt, but you can always add whatever might be missing. So you've got some thyme, which you just shake it in there, and you might as well have fun, you know, with the process. So shake that in there. By the way, I forgot 2 bay leaves I'm gonna use, so I'm gonna put those in there now. And then I've got oregano. Those are the spices and the herbs that I'm using, and a little bit of salt and pepper, although I've been reducing the amount of salt and pepper that I use in my recipes lately, but I'm gonna put a little bit. And like I said, that's a personal choice. You can go ahead and add more pepper and salt later, but you can never take salt away. And let's not forget that everything we buy has a lot of sodium in it already. So we really don't need the extra salt. And all that salt in our body ends up crystallizing into crystals, and then sometimes we don't feel well because of that. So we've got to just be mindful about the salt consumption, and remember that everything that you eat that's not made at home has a lot of sodium. Or if you're eating a lot of canned goods, go ahead and just take a look at what you're eating so you're aware, right? This is about awareness and making healthier choices. So healthier choices just depends on where you are. So you get to make those choices as you go along. So now I have a can of diced tomatoes. You see it says organic, and here's the thing. It has citric acid in it. It's not my favorite. I am gonna use it in this recipe. I'm going to use what I have here, and then I'm going to look for a can that also just has organic tomatoes, tomato juice, and sea salt, right? I don't want all the preservatives. Otherwise, I will have to make my own diced tomatoes, which will be another process that I can make another video about. So here you go. I'm going to put the whole can in there. And I'm also going to add some maple syrup, probably about a tablespoon, just to add a little bit of sweetness. It goes, okay? And then the last thing I'm gonna add that I've never done before is millet. This is a gluten-free grain that I've had before. I haven't had it in a long time. The recipe I looked at asked for quinoa. I'm not a really big fan of quinoa. I do eat it, but the truth is I really don't eat a lot of grains to begin with. When we start to eat grains, we start to forget vegetables. So it's more important to get vegetables in, and you can get squashes and potatoes in rather than grains. Every now and then, it's okay, like everything else, in moderation. So go ahead, and I'm going to do about 3/4 of a cup. And I've never done this before, but I think it's going to be good. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. Let me see, did I get all the tomatoes in there? Yes, I did. All right, so I'm going to give that a good stir before I start to add the water. Sometimes you could add a vegetable stock. I prefer, once again, not to use the vegetable stock that is in a can made, because there's a lot of oils in there. There's a lot of sodiums in there. So I do make vegetable stock, but I don't have one on hand, and I still want to eat my soup. So that's what I'm up to. So I'm going to actually measure the amount of water. I think I want about 6 to 8 cups here. I'm going to want to cover it so it has plenty of time to cook, and then I'm going to allow it to simmer before I add the final touches, which I can video at the end, right before my dinner. Okay, so this is 4 cups, and let me see, this is 6 cups, which I think looks like the right amount. Okay, So let's go ahead and just see what's going on here. So here is what the soup looks like before. Okay. Now what's gonna happen is I'm gonna let that boil. I'm gonna let that come to a boil, and then I'm going to put it on medium heat. I'm gonna let it simmer, and then I will take another video and show you the end product, which I may add kale to it at the end, and I may add some parsley and some lime. I'll see what I'm in the mood for. But in the meantime, enjoy your evening. I hope you're having a healthy dinner, and I'll see you all later.